You walked out this morning the same way you always do. You went to the coop, looked into the nesting boxes, and they were empty. Not one egg, not even one. The feeder was full, the water was clean, you hadn't changed a single thing. And yet, your hens had stopped laying eggs. Most people assume they already know why. They blame the cold, they blame the age. They say, it just happens sometimes. But the truth is far more specific than that. In most cases, there is something you are doing or not doing that is sending a very clear signal to your hens. A signal that says, this is not a safe place to lay eggs right now. Today, you are going to understand exactly what that signal is. And once you know it, you will never look at your flock the same way again. Welcome to Chicken Mind. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe before you leave, because what you are about to learn will completely change the way you understand your hens. Today, we are going through the 7 real reasons why your hens stopped laying eggs. Not the generic list you find on every website, the reasons behind your hen's behavior, explained through science in plain language that anyone can understand. Stay until the end, because reason number 7 is the one that hits closest to home. It is the most ignored reason of all, and it is the one most hen keepers wish someone had told them sooner. Reason number 1. The light. There is a tiny gland located near your hen's eye that controls her entire reproductive cycle. Not her brain, not her heart. That specific gland detects light, and it governs everything. When the days get shorter in fall and winter, that gland sends one clear message to your hen's body. Stop everything. Save your energy. And egg production shuts down. Your hen needs at least 14 to 16 hours of light per day to lay consistently. Most keepers think it is about temperature. It is not. It is about light. A single low-wattage bulb in the coop connected to a simple timer, that's all it takes. Egg production can resume in as little as 2 weeks. That's how specific the mechanism is. That's how simple the solution can be. Reason number 2. Silent stress. This is what almost nobody understands about hens. Stress is invisible. There are no obvious symptoms. Your hen will not tell you she is stressed. She will simply stop laying. Hens are prey animals. They've been wired for millions of years to hide any sign of weakness. So when something in their environment tells them they are not safe, their body makes an automatic decision. This is not the right time to lay eggs. What could be causing that stress without you noticing? A dog barking near the coop every night, a change in where the feeder is placed, new hens introduced to the flock, even you if you changed your daily routine around the coop. Hens learn your schedule. They learn your movements. They know exactly when you arrive and what you do when you get there. Any change in that routine can be enough to trigger their stress response. Research published in the journal Animal Cognition confirmed that hens do not just perceive stress, they anticipate it. Their hormonal system reacts before danger even arrives, based on environmental signals you would never notice. Reason number 3. The molt. Once a year, your hen will do something that alarms many first-time keepers the first time they see it. She will lose her feathers. A lot of feathers. In some cases, she will look almost bare. This is called molting, and during the molt, your hen's body redirects all of its energy, all of it, toward regrowing her plumage. Nothing is left for egg production. The molt typically lasts between 8 and 16 weeks depending on the bird. Here is what nobody tells you. The speed of the molt depends directly on nutrition. A hen with a protein deficit will molt more slowly, she will suffer more, and she will take much longer to start laying again. If your hen is molting and you keep feeding her the same food as always, you are unknowingly extending the process. Increasing protein during this period with specific feed or supplements like mealworms or legumes can cut the molt time in half. Reason number 4. Incorrect feeding. Your hen needs exactly 4 grams of calcium per day to produce 1 egg. Not approximately, exactly 4 grams. When calcium runs low, her body makes an automatic decision. It stops producing eggs before it starts stealing calcium from her own bones. This is not a metaphor. Hens with chronic calcium deficiency develop osteoporosis. Their bones become fragile. And it all starts with something as simple as giving too many treats or kitchen scraps, which dilute the nutrients in their main feed. The rule that poultry specialists recommend is the 90-10 rule. 90% of your hen's diet must be complete, balanced layer feed. 10% can be treats or supplements. If you flip that ratio, even for a few days, production drops. And there is one more thing. A hen that eats well on the outside can still be malnourished on the inside if the water is not fresh. Hens drink constantly to process nutrients. Without clean, fresh water, the feed you give them passes through, almost unabsorbed. Reason number 5. Age, and what nobody tells you about it. Your hen will produce the most eggs during her first and second year of laying. In that window, she can lay up to 280 to 300 eggs per year, depending on the breed. Starting in her third year, production begins to decline. Not suddenly, gradually. Until one day, it simply stops. This does not mean your hen is sick. It means she is older, and her body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. But here is what nobody says out loud. A 4-year-old hen that stopped laying is not a failure. She is an animal that spent her best years giving you something every single day, and she now needs different care, not abandonment. Many keepers replace their hens at this point. They start over, and they lose something that is very hard to rebuild, the trust that took years to grow. Reason number 6. The predators you cannot see. There is something circling your coop at night that your hens know about, and you do not. It does not need to get inside. It does not need to kill a single hen. Simply walking around the outside of the coop 2 or 3 nights in a row is enough to put your entire flock into a state of chronic alert. Hens have an extraordinarily precise fear memory. They can remember the presence of a specific predator for weeks, and while that memory is active, their body will not produce eggs. It cannot. Cortisol, the stress hormone, directly blocks the reproductive hormones. A weasel, a fox, a stray dog that passed by just once. Any of these can silence your coop for weeks without you ever understanding why. If your hens stopped laying suddenly with no apparent reason, go check the perimeter of the coop at night with a flashlight, slowly. Look for tracks, droppings, marks in the soil. The answer is usually right there. Reason number 7. Water. This is the simplest reason on this list, and the most ignored. Your hens need between 500 and 600 milliliters of fresh water every single day, more in summer. And the water must be clean, not just acceptable, actually clean. A drinker with cloudy or stagnant water causes your hens to drink less than they need, and when hydration drops by even 10%, egg production can fall by up to 50%. When was the last time you scrubbed your hen's drinker with water and vinegar? When was the last time you checked it at 3 in the afternoon, after the sun has been heating that water for hours? The drinker is not an accessory. It is the most critical infrastructure in your coop, and most keepers treat it like the least important thing they own. When a hen stops laying, most keepers think about eggs, about production, about whether that animal is still worth keeping. But there is something no farming guide will ever tell you. That hen who stopped laying this week, the one who has spent months coming to eat from your hand, the one who recognizes your footsteps from the other side of the coop, the one who learned exactly what time you arrive and positions herself near the door before you even open it, that hen chose you. Not the coop, not the feed, you. Peer-reviewed research published in Animal Cognition and Applied Animal Behavior Science confirms that domestic hens can remember up to 100 different human and animal faces, that they form bonds, that they have individual personalities, that the stress they experience when they lose a familiar person is measurable and real. So the next time you look at an empty nest box, instead of asking what is wrong with the production, ask what is happening with your hen, because there is an enormous difference between those two questions, and the second one is the one that will give you the real answer. Tell me in the comments, when was the first time your hens stopped laying and you could not figure out why? Which one of these reasons surprised you the most? I read every comment. This is Chicken Mind. I will see you in the next one.